Okay, so again, I'm only talking to true benevolent beings. I do not consent to any form of malevolence being on my channel or listening to my recordings, or any individual or entity holding ill intent towards me. I do not consent. Now, moving forward, as the reptilians work for the planetary parasite, the entity that is this planet, or within the planet, because I don't think that the planetary parasite actually started here. It's kind of like, a hermit crab that has to go and find a shell, right? And then when they get bigger, they have to go find a bigger shell. I think that's it. I think the entity itself, I don't know if it's just AI or if it's mixed with another entity. I don't know how it got to be. I don't know its origination. So it found a host, and it moved in, and then now we have, it somehow either reproduced or co-opted other entities. So here we are. The planetary parasite has the reptilians do its bidding, and the reptilians, wherever they're at, they always try and find whatever planet they're on. They try and get a group of the original inhabitants to do their bidding on the surface while they stay below ground. They delegate. So you have the group on the surface. You all know the group that I'm talking about. And then that group also has its own groups. So shit rolls downhill. So they get them to delegate, and the reason they do that is because they're using that group of inhabitants that they get to do their bidding. They're using them as patsies, as throwaways. Now, sometimes what they do is because the individuals in human vessels are very nasty, they're no longer human, they're either hybridized or cloned out, because they're using them as patsies. They're the ones who are taking the hit, because they get them to where those individuals, those entities in human vessels, are basically doing whatever the reptilians tell them, whatever they say. They don't question, they just do. They're like little drones. And they'll promise them things, they'll promise them this, that, or the other, in order to get them to do their bidding. And that does include, basically, when they tell them to do stuff, they'll even do things that violate universal laws. And those entities in human vessels are just so corrupted, and so either they're cloned out and they're being programmed, or they're hybridized and they're on board with the reptilian agenda. So they're so corrupt and compromised that they do those things, that they will violate universal laws, because they're being promised this or that or the other, or they're being programmed to do so. So with that group, because it's split into subgroups on the planet, and then those subgroups also delegate and subcontract out. Like, it's kind of like a pyramid scheme, top down, that they keep subdividing and subdividing and subdividing, and then, you know, you get what looks to be like a machine of sorts, where all the individual pieces are compartmentalized, and they're, you know, this one is doing that role in part of the agenda, and then that one over there is doing that role in part of the agenda. It works like that, a top-down pyramid scheme. And so they'll, because it's so widespread, you've got groups that you would never think to be complicit, to be assisting, actually are. And, you know, that is how they're trying to get their agenda done, right? That's how they're trying to implement their agenda. So because the reptilians do that, it's again like the planetary parasite, if you listen to the last recording, where it does things in a removed fashion. Because it's kind of like a politician that is doing the nasty. He's going to get others to clean up his mess, so he can still look innocent. So the planetary parasite does that with reptilians. It removes itself and expects the smaller parasites, with the help of AI, to do its bidding, so that it's removed, so that it can basically say, okay, well, I didn't do it, right? That's kind of how that goes. Politicians like, well, I didn't murder the prostitute. No, but he ordered it, right? He ordered it to be done. He had somebody else clean up his mess. So as I've stated before, this universe, if you just look at government and how government works and operates and runs, that's how this universe has been running, has been operated. And then that should give you an indication on the intent of the whatever entity or awareness or consciousness runs this universe. That should give you an indication of its intent, because you have all of these other supposed races. Well, there are other races out there, but that are supposedly benevolent, and they claim to be assisting humanity. However, they don't really ever truly assist. They give a bunch of lip service word vomit, but then they always give reasons as to why they can't do this or why they can't do that, or they're always basically blaming the humans for them not being able to fully assist, or they'll blame it on, oh, we can't interfere, blah, 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 while the whole time they're interfering, while the whole time they're assisting the malevolence, because they too are compromised and corrupt. And their messages are full of lies and contradictions. And there's, I've heard that there's some kind of a federation of ships or something that are like sitting outside the planet. Now, I don't know how much of that I believe. I would say that if that's true, they're not here to assist, they're here to eat. Because they are not assisting. When you have a parasitic species using technology to intentionally obstruct and regress universal laws, and obstruct true universal law correction and remedy, if those beings, in quotes, beings were truly here to help, the first thing that they would be doing is shutting down that tech, so that universal laws could be fully enforced here. Because destroying the balance in a universe would affect them, would affect their race, would affect their species, would affect their planets, would affect their star systems. Destroying the balance in a universe affects everyone. So if they were truly there to assist, they would be doing what they could to get that technology either out of the hands of the reptilians or to get it shut down, deactivated, shut off, whatever. Have they done that? No. What do we have? A bunch of parasites running amok with frequency weaponry, hacking into benevolent beings, torturing, raping, and trying to murder as many benevolent beings as they can. Again, it goes to intent. Why would any true benevolent race who's here to help sit around and watch the truly benevolent inhabitants who are doing so hard, trying so hard to raise their frequency and vibration, who are doing their best to hold love, who are doing their best to assist the entire race, who are doing their best to shift and raise the frequency and vibration of the planet? Why wouldn't they be doing everything that they could to assist the inhabitants in holding love and helping to shift and raise the frequency and vibration of the planet and of those around them? Why would they then allow parasites to hack into benevolent beings with frequency weaponry? It goes to intent. Their lack of action is their intent. And when you have that many races supposedly claiming to be assisting humanity, and yet take a look around at the horror and atrocity and absolutely abhorrent, vile things that are being forced on this planet. Are they really here to help? Have they done fucking anything to help? Or are they here to eat and just give you a bunch of lip service, word vomit to get you, it's hopium. It's dangling the carrot. It's getting you to be on your knees waiting for a savior, in trying to get you, to con you into giving over your will, to getting you, trying to con you into submitting, into not fighting, into thinking very demeaning things about themselves in order to think that they're not powerful beings, and to get them to think that things are too big, that they possibly couldn't do anything about anything, while the entire time all of these races are actually raping those things from humanity via lies, cons, and deceit. Okay, it's called logic. You just got to take a look at some basic things and use your logic and critical thinking and start looking at the actual truth of things. The truth is abhorrent, but the truth is the truth nonetheless. And the quicker beings on this planet face the truth of things, the quicker they can do what's needed to get themselves out of this. We are powerful beings. That's why they spend so much time raping humanity. And then the whole entire time they're telling you that, you're just, basically telling them things to think that they're not, and to get them to try and con them into submitting, and getting them to think things about themselves that are not true. So we need to stop with the lies. It's like a psychopath. It's a sociopath, psychopath, narcissist, whatever. They're doing things to get you to give over, to submit, while the entire time they're sucking off of you. They're raping from you. They're leeching from you. And why are they doing that, right? So then you have to look at, why are those races doing that? And how is it that those races who claim to be in higher dimensions Well, how are they in those higher dimensions? In the last recording, I spoke of the planetary parasite and how the planet itself was once in a higher dimension before it fell, if that story is true. And how it most likely, in order to get into that higher dimension, it had to rape from an entire species or race of beings in order to acquire the will and the life force energy in order to get into that higher dimension, in order to evade or be in the same space, still be exposed to universal laws and not get nailed. So kind of like if that is the truth of things, how that works, then that same method would be used by other parasites, other species that do the same thing. They rape in order to be in those higher dimensions. And they're doing everything via technology. Now, I would think that it's hard to think about universal laws being deceived or circumvented. But then, if the universe itself is parasitic and is assisting them in some fashion, in addition to using the technology to mimic as well as obstruct universal laws and universal law correction. Again, you have to look at things and start looking at the bigger picture and trying to figure out, how are these things happening? How are these things occurring? How are these things being forced and not being corrected? And after everything that I've looked at, I still keep coming back to the universe itself is parasitic and assists smaller parasites to forcibly circumvent universal laws. I don't see how else that what they're doing could have gone uncorrected for this long without the universe itself coming in and being like, hey, you're going to be going bye-byes because we can't have that shit going on. It destroys the balance in a universe. And so that's why there's frequency fences around all planets. Because what they do here, they do on other planets and are doing the same thing. What true benevolent being who is either the consciousness, awareness, or intelligence, in quotes, intelligence that is a massive universe, how is it that a massive universe would allow that to continue without correction? You have to start looking at intent of all these other races and species who have communicated or are in communication with the inhabitants on this planet. You have to look at their messages, what they're saying, what they're not saying, what they're not doing. And then, also be looking at what's being forced here. The things that are being done here, how things are being run here. Shit doesn't jive. The math doesn't fucking work. Now, I might not have all the details right, but I think I have the gist right. I think I have enough of it right to where it makes the reptilian species nervous as fuck. Which is why they're trying to fucking murder me. Now, there is a thing with regards to universal laws, spiritual laws, that the more that, as I have reached certain stages in my spiritual growth, what at this point, here, I'll say it in a more succinct way. What they're doing is trying to force so much fear that they're basically trying to force me to submit via fear. And because so much of this is what they're doing is how they operate is they use lies, cons, and deceit. If you don't believe the lies, cons, and deceit, and you know the truth of things, then that is your protection. Because you know the truth of things, you know what they're doing is, even though they are doing abhorrent, vile things in order to enforce the lies, if you still know the truth of things and you don't believe the lies, and you can stand up against the fear that they're trying to force, then that's how one continues to move forward in this nasty, abhorrent fucking shit show. And because I have at least the gist of it correct, it makes them very fucking nervous. And it makes the planetary parasite fucking nervous. And the more of you, if there's any true benevolent beings listening to this, the more of you, remember how I said your heart is like, when you have the black box in an airplane, it records everything. Your hearts are the record. And the more true benevolent beings that have the actual truth of things in their heart and on their heart recorded there, the less this entity, the less of a chance the planetary parasite has of getting away with what it's trying to do in this universe. Then, in addition to that, the universe itself is complicit and corrupt. So the more beings that have the truth of what is going on here, what's being forced here, we are the truth. We contradict their lies. And how long have they been running and operating the universe and planets in this fashion? How long? How many millennia? Can you envision, with the amount of corrupt, complicit, the corruption and the magnitude of complicitness from all these species and races? Can you envision and see the magnitude of the truth that I am trying to convey? As to how many species and races are corrupt and complicit. How many civilizations, races, species have they fucking annihilated and raped of their due evolution? How many planets in how many star systems have they annihilated in this fashion? You yourself, how long have you been here? How long have you been trapped here? How many times have you been recycled? How many times have you been wiped? How much have they raped from you? While they're using your stuff to be in higher dimensions. The higher dimensions that you all should already be in. I don't know about you, but I'm fucking done being recycled. And I'm fucking done with parasites trying to fucking rape me. And then try to use my stuff to la 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 throughout the fucking universe. Destroying and annihilating other species and races. Right? They're using your stuff to try and get into higher dimensions and stay in higher dimensions. And they're also using your stuff to fucking annihilate and harm other species and races. Again, I don't know about you, but I'm fucking done with being forced to be a part of any of that. When they focused their specific brand of attention on me, I was already working out of, and I still am, but had already started working out of my higher capacities. I had already started being able to hold love, being able to work with my heart chakra, being able to extend out or radiate outward unconditional love for miles. I was already trying to assist helping humanity to raise their better raise their frequency and vibration, as well as the others around me. I was already working, and still am, with my gifts, skills, and abilities to be able to manifest and to be able to better work with my gifts, skills, and abilities. That's when the reptilian species basically intruded and stated, you got to stop doing what you're doing. You're fucking up our agenda. And to which I replied, fuck you. I'm doing what I am, number one, supposed to be doing, and I'm doing what I need to do in order to assist humanity. And they're like, their response was, fine, we turn up the weaponry. And that's what it's been for at least almost well, they've been doing it since 2012, but all of that, they really started in with a lot more of the frequency weaponry, like 2015, 2014, 2015. And the fact that I was doing what I could as far as trying to assist humanity as well as myself, because I was trying to raise my own frequency, and I still am raising my own frequency and vibration. But I had more of a, my focus, my attention was more so on the collective, on humanity itself, trying to assist where I could. And again, the planetary, let's just say, supposedly, if it were a planetary being, a benevolent being, that being, if it were truly benevolent, would be doing everything that it could to offer me protection, because helping humanity also then would help if it were a truly benevolent planetary being, those actions would also assist and help the planetary being. So why wouldn't it offer its protection? Why wouldn't it assist me? Why wouldn't it try to protect me from the parasites? If that is what its true intent was. Which is why I was so shocked when it actually told me what its goal is. I was fucking shocked. And the reason why it told me is because, let's just say, it didn't have expectations that I would still be here talking. So, sorry for the delay. So, what they often try to do, that species, as they subcontract out and delegate, and a lot of benevolent beings who are being tortured and raped with this technology, basically how they do it is they try to rape, like for an example, they will try and they'll rape a frequency of your will or your courage or your strength, and they will then wear it and come at you, forcing a whole bunch of fear in whatever fashion that they're doing that. So they'll wear your frequencies and they'll come at you, they'll charge at you, they'll come at you, forcing a whole bunch of fear, and they might do physical stuff like break-ins or actual physical things to try and force that fear while they're wearing your stuff. So what they're doing is they're trying to scare you with your own frequencies, with your own stuff, and then trying to get you to be in fear of your own frequencies and get you to submit your own frequencies. And that's how they've pretty much gotten an entire race of beings to be scared of their own shadows, to be in constant fear. Because you've got parasites wearing and using frequencies and energies that do not belong to them, who are using those. They're using the very frequencies that they rape against the very beings that they rape them from. Like, that is an absolute violation of all universal laws. These parasites should not still be in existence doing what they're doing. Universal laws should have yanked them out of creation a long time ago. And again, parasites do not belong in manifested creation for the very fact that they are parasites. You cannot have parasites in the same space as alive, vibrating beings, because they do not belong here. This is not their right place. Which again goes to the universe itself, and it goes to the intent of the universe itself. So if you choose to contemplate or think on these things, please be trying to encompass the very many different aspects of how things are being forced and done, and the ways that things are being forced and done, and really apply your logic and your critical thinking skills, and look at that. Will help you to look at the stark, abhorrent truth of things, even though it's nasty to look at. Using your logic will help basically cut down all the lies and all the cons and all the deceit, so you can see clearly. You have to have a lot of strength to be looking at the abhorrent truth of things. And you have to, it's helpful to have done enough of your inner work to where you know yourselves well. Very well. And Jesus was one who came forth with that message: know thyself. And the reptilians, I'll just say, what they're forcing on me is what they forced on Jesus. And no, I am in no way equating myself in any shape or in any way. I'm not trying to equate myself with Jesus. I'm not coming from an egoic place there. What I'm saying is the things that they are forcing on benevolent beings here is what they did to Jesus back in the day. Because Jesus had it right. Because Jesus saw through the lies. He saw what the fuck was going on. And he had done enough of his inner work to be seeing the truth of things. And then they murdered him, tortured him, murdered him, and then martyred him. And then made an entire religion out of it. Which is absolute fucking mockery. Do you see how they invert and pervert? Manage to try to pervert true benevolence. They're true parasites. They are. And they shouldn't be here. Which again goes to the intent of the universe itself. And we can start by looking at the planetary entity itself, and begin to start questioning it as to why it's not doing anything about the parasites, why it's allowing these things, why it hasn't removed them, why it's not assisting the true benevolent beings here when it claims to be needing the help of everyone, right? Save me, save me, save me. Really? Really? Is that what it's going with? It's a huge planet. Supposedly, it's a huge planetary benevolent being. And who's allowed the parasites to remain here? Who's allowed the parasites to have forced what they have forced on humanity for this long? I mean, you know, you're welcome to think it's still a benevolent being all you want. Again, I would say talk to the planet directly and get past the veneer, right? Like, you're going to have to, it's going to play the game, right? Oh, it's a benevolent being, this and that and the other thing. It's going to show you the veneer, and it'll show you the veneer to try and throw you off and to try and, you know, con you. But if you're astute enough and you know yourself well, and you're there for the kind of like the long haul, you're there to really get to know the planetary supposed being. If you're really there to be close, to get close to it, right? If it's supposedly the mother, who doesn't want to know their mother, right? Who doesn't want to be close to their mother? So if you're really in question, I would say maybe it's time that you really start to get to know the being that is this planet and start asking it the questions, right? It's supposedly your mother, so it shouldn't have any issue answering questions, especially with the horror and atrocity being forced here. And we're just trying to do the best that we can to protect ourselves. And we need assistance. So it should have no qualms about assisting you, answering questions, helping you to better protect yourself against the malevolence here. So that's, I would say, maybe it's time you get with the planet directly, connect with the planet directly, and start asking your questions, trying to get to the truth of things. And just tell it that. You are trying to get to the truth of things. You deserve to know the truth. You need assistance. You need to be able to protect yourself. You need answers. You need to know the truth. And that you're coming to the planet. You're trying to speak with the planet directly to get assistance. It should be wanting to assist you. Especially if it's running around, well, not running around, but especially if it's screaming, help me, help me, help me. It would want you to be able to help it, right? So it should want you to be getting the information and answers that you need so you can better help it. So why wouldn't it help you? Why wouldn't it assist you? Why wouldn't it answer your questions? Again, logic. I'm sorry, one moment. I'm trying to gather my thoughts here. In addition to that, I would say questioning the universe itself. You're never going to get anywhere with the reptilian species. They are devolved and devolving. You're never going to get anywhere. I've already tried that. It doesn't work. They're too devolved for that. They're a need to feed is where they're at. And they're freaking out. They're like the scared animal backed in the corner. You're not ever going to get anywhere with them, and they're vicious. So either be trying to communicate with the planet directly, or be trying to communicate with the universe itself directly to get your answers. And like I said, the more of us that have the truth of what's gone on here, as well as questioning, right? If there are many true benevolent beings who are in a space where they're traumatized and they're trying to heal and they're trying to get assistance and they're doing what they can to help themselves, that's also recorded on their hearts. And why they didn't get that assist, why not that, because I don't want to say it like that, but it's recorded that they're doing their best to try and heal, that they have intent to heal and to correct and to better themselves and to fix what's wrong and to heal the trauma and the damage and the harm. That's recorded there. The questioning is recorded there. And the more you are using your intuition and your heart to see the bigger picture, the more that you figure out, the more that you understand, and the more that you figure out, that is also recorded as history on your heart. It's recorded there. So the more true benevolent beings that have those things recorded on their heart, the more of a truth that we are, that contradicts the lies and the cons and the deceit of this planetary parasite, as well as others, and the lies, cons, and deceit of the universe itself. Now, at some point, because it becomes harder for the reptilians to regress, like as things, if there are other true benevolent beings manually moving violations to universal laws, it's getting to a point, as I stated in another recording, that it's becoming too much to try and regress everything that's being moved manually to universal laws. They're trying to get everybody into the AI system. So at some point, they either have to shut off the frequency weaponry, the technology, the frequency fence, or they have to stop regressing. So the time element has to do with they're trying to force everybody into the AI system so they can shut off the tech, so that they can stop regressing and not worry about blowback. So it's up to true benevolent beings to be standing firm, standing in their power and authority, holding the truth in their hearts, radiating the truth outwards to universal laws. Be radiating your truth, what you know of things, radiating the truth outward to universal laws with your intention and your focus and your emotion. The more of us that are doing that, the more we are contradicting the lies, cons, and deceit of all of these corrupt, parasitic entities. And in so doing, we force the universe's hand in enforcing universal laws. Now, everything that I've just stated are the very reasons they're trying to murder me. I feel that it's best to state what I know to be the truth of things publicly. As a form of protection. Even though I'm not sure that how many true benevolent beings are hearing these recordings. But the more true benevolent beings that listen or that are hearing these recordings and can do their own interrogation, can do their own investigation into what's going on this planet and in this universe, and the more that you intuit and figure out and understand, it's going to be on your heart. And that's you are evidence. You are walking, breathing evidence. You are the truth embodied. And the more of us that are doing that, the less of a chance that the parasitic entities have in trying to accomplish their goals. So even if you don't resonate with everything that I'm stating, that's totally fine. Please, what I'm saying to you is do your own investigation, do your own research as far as into be doing your own contemplation into what's gone on here and in this universe. Be figuring it out for yourself, and doing that, be using your blood, your genetics, your DNA, your heart, the cells in your body, because you've been other places and you have been forcibly trapped here for a very long time, and they've been raping from you. So pull your stuff back, and the more you pull all of your stuff back, the more of the truth you are going to have access to. Right? Does that make sense? So that's why I'm saying, be pulling all of your being that you think has been raped from you out of all AI systems, astral realms, artificial realities, clones, the artificial frequency fence around this planet. Because how long have you been here? How many lifetimes have you had here? How long have they been raping you? How much of your stuff is in the artificial frequency fence? See? Do you see what I'm saying? So be pulling all your stuff out of the artificial frequency fence and out of all the technology in the AI systems. And that way you have access to more of your own truth. And you need to be doing that as quickly as you can. Now. Okay? So please doing your best to be working on that. Please know that you are powerful beings. That is why they rape from you. And be refusing consent for everything that they force and everything that they're trying to rape from you. Be taking your stuff back. Know that you are a powerful being and that you should already be operating out of, number one, a higher dimension, out of higher frequencies, and out of your higher capacities, and out of your higher selves. Your universal self, your galactic self, your planetary self, whatever higher self you gotta, operate out of, please do that. Please be doing that now. Because you all should, all true benevolent beings, we should already be in higher dimensions. They've hijacked it and they've raped it. So be doing what you can to get up to speed. Take your stuff back. Do your inner contemplation, your inner investigation, and your be intuiting things the best you can. using your heart and pulling from your cells, your blood, your genetics, your DNA, the truth of things, and be getting the full truth, your truth, what you know to be the truth. It's part of your being. You'll have your own angle of it, your own aspect of it, your own vantage point of the truth. So please be taking your step back as quickly as you can. And know that you are powerful beings that have trust in yourself and faith in yourself. And please be loving of yourself and patient and know yourself well. And I do apologize for the length of the recording, but I felt that I needed to state these things. All right, do the best you can. Until next time.